Well, hey guys, MonstersReview here. Let me be honest, I don't really want to do this review. It'd be kind of redundant since I somehow predicted that almost every problem I noticed in the first episode and shorts of the Powerpuff Girls reboot would somehow carry on into the rest of the series. It was definitely a lot more fast-paced than the original, which really doesn't come as a surprise to me. However, I think that that's a really big problem because it doesn't give you time to take in the moment or think about what's happening. Also, a lot of the humor feels forced, like they're trying really hard to make you laugh. I know that this is kind of beating the dead horse here, but I'm still having trouble getting used to the new voices, and quite frankly, I don't know if I ever will. The presence of social media and the internet definitely feels forced, and one of the things that made the original Powerpuff Girls so great was that it avoided directly implementing era-defining electronics or trends, so that its morals and stories could be relevant today, or any time in the future. It's a reboot in 2016 that has female protagonists, but why does that mean that all of a sudden has to do with feminism? However, I did promise a full review in that first impressions video, so here it is. That means, in order to review the new reboot, I forced myself to watch 10 more episodes, and overall, this series is nothing short of disappointing. To be entirely honest, it's not that good, but it's not the worst thing in the universe either. Despite the fact that I'm more than 10 episodes in, I'm still having trouble getting used to the new voices, and they sound more like subpar impressions of the original VAs more than the actual characters. Also, something else I noticed was that they got someone new to voice Princess Morbucks, yet they still had her original voice actress Jennifer Hale come back and voice Miss Keen, as well as other additional voices. I really don't get the logic in this reboot's casting department. The characters are definitely over-exaggerated, and the girls aren't as well-rounded as before. The girls lack a lot of substance and are dumbed down to only stand for one of their many traits. For example, Buttercup is a tomboy, and that's about it. Also, Mojo Jojo seems more unsure of what gender he is, as he's constantly doing feminine or innocent things, which makes him a lot less intimidating as a villain. Mojo Jojo used to be kind of this comic relief, but now that this show is forcing so much humor upon us, Mojo Jojo's interludes are nowhere near as funny or comical. The show is fast-paced, which really doesn't allow us viewers to establish any sort of emotional or serious connection to the characters, and a lot of the humor seems forced. Not to mention, there's more cringeworthy meme references and lots of millennial slang, and it wouldn't be as bad if it didn't seem forced or if a lot of it was outdated. I honestly can't remember the last time I heard someone say OMG or the last time I saw the No Me Gusta meme. This series is really progressive with transgender and feminist ideas, and that would be alright if it was a completely new show. They're taking a pre-existent idea and totally turning it into something it's not. It's obvious that they're really taking advantage of the fact that this show has 3 female protagonists, and especially with the increased presence and power of the modern feminist movement on the internet, one of the last things I want to see on one of my favorite childhood shows is them shoving feminist ideas down my throat. There was already a bit of controversy that was caused when their attempts at conveying transgender messages in the episode Horn Sweet Horn totally backfired. The episode's about a talking pony that the girls find at a zoo named Donnie, who wants to be a unicorn instead of a pony, so the girls take a zoo animal on the bus home to the professor. The professor tries to turn Donnie into a unicorn, but instead Donnie becomes a giant monster that destroys a lot of Townsville. Then Donnie's confronted by real unicorns, only to find out that he already is one. Cartoon Network got a lot of harsh criticism for this episode because although they were trying to show that you can be whatever you want to be, it partially implied that those people turn into monsters. Also, did I forget to mention, they wrote off Miss Bellum. That's right, Miss Bellum is no longer a character in the reboot. Nick Jennings, who's one of the head honchos on this reboot, said, "We felt like Miss Bellum wasn't quite indicative of the kind of messaging we wanted to be giving out at this time, so we sort of had her move on, and that was a good choice I think on our part." What he said was unbelievably vague, but what I think he was trying to say is that Miss Bellum's body type and the fact that we don't see her face conflicts with the feminist messages that they're trying to convey, which sounds understandable but shouldn't be. Miss Bellum was a very intelligent character, and despite the way she looked, she was always a reliable and smart character. Also, the fact that they're most likely taking her out of the series because of her physical appearance totally contradicts the messages of feminism they're trying to make, of not discriminating females for their appearances. But let me get this straight. They cut Miss Bellum out of the picture, but this is okay? Back it up, 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 back it up. As more episodes have come out, more animation mistakes have been pointed out, and it's very evident that they're very lazy. A lot of the artists and animators I follow on social media are really fed up with the art on this show. With the rise in digital animation, many shortcuts are available, and I feel like that gives animators the excuse to do less work, but when these shortcuts are used, it usually doesn't come out looking as good. So overall, I'm not a fan of this reboot, and I'm probably not going to keep watching it, but it's not horrible, and I might watch it if there's nothing else on. I think a lot of the negative things we see about this series seem more devastating because a lot of us grew up with this cartoon, and it means a lot to us. However, that's not to say that there's still not problems with the series or anything like that. Personally, to see one of my favorite childhood shows that had 6 seasons, several specials and movies, and developed characters start on a clean slate and negatively changed irritated me a lot. Like I said at the beginning, I predicted a lot of the problems that would be in this series, and they didn't really come as much of a shock to me. Most of the people working on this show are different people, it was one of the best merchandise selling shows for Cartoon Network, and it's being produced by Cartoon Network Studios in 2016. Trust me, I really wanted this series to be good, and I would have been surprised if it was good, but I didn't really expect much from it. And also, Cartoon Network usually finds a way to mess up any attempt of them trying to work with older shows anyways. We need to be more mindful of the terms they use to market these new shows. Reboots seem to be a remake of the original, whereas things like revivals or additional seasons will usually add on to the original. Cartoon Network is marketing the new Ben 10 as a reboot, and the new Samurai Jack as a new season to continue the original story. I already know that the Ben 10 reboot is most likely going to be trash, I'm just concerned for Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack was a very visually demanding series, and it told many of its stories simply with its animation. In many of the episodes, Jack barely talked at all. Samurai Jack also won several Emmys and Annie Awards for its production design and animation, so I really hope that they maintain the previous standard of having high quality animation. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like below and give me your thoughts on the Powerpuff Girls reboot in the comments. Also, make sure you follow me on social media at MonstersReview and check out my Patreon if you already haven't. As always, I'm MonstersReview, thanks for watching and have a spectacular day.